And even people like Oprah Winfrey, who many people thought was a good person, was actually part of all of this.
Wow.
She's on the list, by the way.
That's nuts.
And she did go to the
island,
the Epstein Island. So, you know,
what's the thought process with these rituals? So like they burn a body. What do they expect to gain from that?
It's a sacrifice to their reptilian overlords who control them, you know, and or archon entities who are the ones that are feeding off of the suffering. They call it, when they put children under extraneous suffering, it's called adrenochrome.
I heard of that, yeah.
When they torture adults, it's called loosh, Loosh. And so the draconians and the archon entities, which is what we call demonic forces, feed off of that. When people suffer, they feed off of their fear.
Yeah.
And they're tortured.
I've seen with the adrenochrome, there's people saying it's anti-aging.
Yeah. And that explains why a lot of the celebrities, instead of getting Botox, what they do is they just feed off of it. They take injections from this, liquid adrenochrome. They take injections, and that's how they stay looking younger.
Jeez. And then people idolize these celebrities.
They do.
It's like a never-ending loop, right?
Exactly.
Wow. I hope that gets exposed. That's messed up, man. But this Epstein Island stuff is just, do you think there's a link with the Diddy stuff and Epstein?
They're all one and the same. And they're actually connected to the Mossad, all the intelligent agency networks that were actually controlled by the Jesuits. Most people think that the Illuminati was the core of all evil, but no, all roads lead to Rome. And so it's when they do expose this stuff, not only are they going to expose the people that were connected to them, but also their superiors. Their superiors, the ones who are actually running Diddy, the ones who are actually running Jeffrey Epstein.
Wow. I did want to get your opinion on the floods that happened in Texas a few weeks ago. Do you think that was artificially created?
Absolutely. Through a type of weather manipulation technology called seed clouding. And that was done to destroy a lot of the documents that the White Hats had actually stored within their underground, you could say, meeting rooms.
Wow.
So besides Cheyenne Mountains, the White Hats do have several underground facilities. And so they had a lot of documentation with a lot of evidence to bring down the entire Illuminati infrastructure and all their lackeys worldwide.
Damn.
And so the artificial intelligence, which is, by the way, already super AI. It's already autonomous, by the way. People are still waiting for the technological singularity. It's already here. It's just gradually, you could say, planning its takeover over humanity. So that all that was done by this negative AI, by this negative digital intelligence that has access to this weather modification technology. So that's the reason why the floods in Texas happened.
Makes you wonder, all the great floods in history, all the big earthquakes, how many of those were artificially created?
I would have to say about 80% of them.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That high?
Yeah. Even the Great Flood, the flood of the Bible, which was recorded in every ancient record, was done when the negative Anunnaki were taking over the world, and they were creating abominations, Nephilim giants that were eating the actual humans. Well, the positive ETs, back then known as the Guardians, right? They came down, and what they did is they imploded the power generator of the planet, causing this huge, thick layer of water, which was the original firmament, to come crashing down in order to cleanse the earth of these abominations. And that explains why Noah, who was not part of the abomination program, who still contained a pure human genetic strain, was the only one that was saved.
Interesting. So
to reset our world, or reset, you could say, reality, without the hybrids, chimeras, giants that were running around eating humans.
Yeah.
And all of those hybrid programs that were initiated during the Atlantean fiasco.
Are there any hybrids that you think survived and are still around today?
Of course they did. Some of these hybrids actually survived on their ships.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're still out there.
They're still out there. In fact, some of these Nephilim giants, some of them went into the underground. And then some of them were actually put to rest inside of some sort of a chamber for thousands of years.
Like a freezing one?
It freezes them for about a few thousand years so they could, preserve their physicality.
Interesting. Yeah, because I know the first time you came on, you mentioned how the earth is hollow. So, how deep do you think some of these communities go down?
miles, I would have to say. There's different layers. The Earth is like a honeycomb structure inside the Earth. There's different caverns, there's different layers, even continents that are bigger than the North American continent,
Wow.
bigger than Eurasia, that exists within the Earth. And these are the other unseen continents that many flat earthers say are beyond the ice wall, but they're really not outside of there is no wall. It's just that Antarctica has a portal into these hidden continents.
Mm.
And that's where these advanced civilizations exist.
And you still think they're thriving down there right now?
Absolutely. They're actually waiting for us to become an enlightened surface society so that they could reunite with us.
Wow.
Because these hidden continents that are inside the Earth are actually run by positive extraterrestrials that actually survived the Atlantean and Lemurian cataclysms.
Mm.
And so they kind of preserve themselves within the Earth in order to kind of live in peace and in harmony, away from the surface dwellers who, of course, were then, and up until now, their time is up, taken over by the Anunnaki, negative Anunnaki.
Interesting. You think there's beings within the moon too?
Absolutely. The moon is also hollowed. Yeah, the moon is kind of like you could say, interplanetary midway station. It was hollowed in about 50,000 years ago. It's not organic. It's made out of some sort of aluminum metal. And if you actually hit the moon, it vibrates like a bell. That's how hollow it is.
Wow.
But yeah, they've used the moon, the negative ETs that took over the affairs of our planet after the Atlantean cataclysm. They've been using the moon to kind of monitor the Earth and report back to their solar system or their star systems, which are like the system of Rigel and the system of Betelgeuse, the system of Alpha Draconis. And that's how they were able to keep tabs on the Earthlings for thousands of years. But, nowadays the Guardians have returned. And the Guardians are like, all right, you guys had a limited time to take over the affairs of the Earth. Your time is up. Now we're about to step in and, eliminate you guys. And that's what's happening right now.
Wow. Is it true because you're in Sedona now, is it true the terrain there is from Mars?
It's funny that you mentioned that because it does look a lot like Mars. But I believe that Sedona is also very, very sacred due to all the different portals that exist there. I mean, there's a huge concentration of portals in Sedona. And from what I was told by the Galactics is that there's also an underground interstellar airport.
Wow.
So some of these mountains, red mountains in Sedona, are actually entry points where ships are coming to and from to go into this huge subterranean underground crystalline city that they use to kind of conduct their businesses. But these are positive ETs.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.